hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the show. Today we have a very special guest. It's a complete stud, an engineering mastermind, and the ladies love him. Please welcome Nick motherfucking Nelson. Good to see you. Yeah, dude, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here, actually. Yeah, so I gotta ask, is it true that your DMs are just overflowing with girls? It's nonstop, dude. Like, they're always asking me to come over to hang their TV, or something's wrong with their car they want me to work on. Well, I found your problem. Your transmission's blown.
Being blown doesn't sound so bad now, does it?
No, it's bad. It's gonna cost at least $2,000 to fix, plus your brake pads are worn completely bald.
I've got something else that's completely bald.
Oh, are you talking about your tires? Yeah, I saw that, but I bet you can ride these bad boys out for like another 10,000 miles.
I bet you've got something I could ride for 10,000 miles.
What's up? Hello? Hold up, boy. What are you riding? Who's riding what? Oh yeah, the ramp. Riding the ramp. Before we play that awesome ramp build video, I want to know, how did you get into welding, and why did you just randomly build this massive ramp? Well, it was back in 2014. After graduating high school, I knew I was way too smart for college, so I became a construction worker. I quickly found myself on the cover of Forbes magazine, labeled as the world's best welder at 18 years old. And why did I just randomly build that massive ramp? Well, it started with some smaller welding projects. The first one involved a couple street signs and an old Walmart bike. Then, I chopped up that same bike, stole the wheels off my dad's dolly, and added some horsepower. I love you, Harbor Freight. It looked like it was about to fall apart, so I had to test it out by going as fast as I could. And that's when I realized I forgot to add brakes, which is probably something I should have warned my buddy Travis about before this happened. So all of that is what led up to my last welding project, a dirt bike ramp that I built for my old backyard track. After leaving my hometown, I've always wanted to build another, so let's jump right into my new build. I found this blueprint online so I could start to incorporate the dimensions into a few designs I had. And shout out to my high school math teacher for teaching me how to find the circle of a radius using the Pythagorean algorithm. Yeah. So I jumped in my truck, that kind of looks like a car, to pick up all the steel I needed. I started by tracing out the 29-foot radius on the garage floor, and shout out to my boy Aiden for letting me use his garage for a while. After I finished doing some super smart shit in my coloring book,
Oh my god!
I was ready to fabricate the radius. I found that 3 foot 2 1/8 would be the distance between all 6-degree cuts. Awesome. I grabbed my Milwaukee bandsaw and started slicing like I worked at Domino's.
This is Domino's. How may I take your order?
After stacking all the tubes directly over the radius template, I tack welded every cut to lock in the radius during fit up. Now that both radius frames are squared up and tacked together, I was ready to weld. But there was a problem. I didn't have anyone to film me welding, so I invited my buddy Zach over for some beers and handed him my GoPro.
You are watching a master at work.
So to make this 20-foot long ramp fit on the roof of my F-250,
Ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I had to design it to break at the center. In order for the radius to stay consistent through both joining sections, I came up with a bolted bracket system. After drilling the holes in the bracket, I clamped it into place to make sure all the holes would line up. To make the assembly even faster, I also welded a pipe through each hole so the bolts would slide through like butter. And just when you thought it couldn't get any easier, I welded all of the nuts onto the backside so the custom T-bolts I made could thread in by hand.
That was easy.
After raising the top of the ramp to 8 feet, I used my laser level to set the base to find all of the dimensions for the legs. I started with the back legs first so the ramp could finally stand on its own. By welding this sleeve directly onto the ramp, it made it super quick to install the legs. I welded this nut over the hole so the bolt was able to thread into this pocket against the press plate.
Oh yeah.
As the sun started to rise after another all-nighter, something crazy happened. I woke my buddy up mid-nightmare. He said everyone in his dream was making fun of my ramp because it looked hella
Clapped.
Hell no.
Without hesitation, I grabbed my laser and prayed to the plum gods. I set up the laser as fast as I could, then saw a strange bright light.
We blessed you with your welding skills when you were born. You don't need us.
And they were right, because when I checked the in and out dimensions, they were absolutely dialed. Right when I started to weld all the legs onto the folding base, I ran into another huge problem. I couldn't see through my welding hood due to all the cash that welders make, so I traded the stack of cash for a stack of plywood down at Ace Hardware. Now that I could see again, I began to fabricate all the legs. I cut pieces out of this beefy square tube so the legs could easily slide right in, just like all the girls in my DMs with unmounted TVs and car issues.
Well, hello there, friend.
To keep dirt and water out of the leg assembly, I welded coupler nuts on the inside, then capped off the top. It's finally time to slide her out of the garage to prep for painting. I busted out the old rust duster to shine her up a little bit so the primer would slap on real nice. After hanging all of the pieces, I gave everything a good acetone wipe down to start priming. Luckily for me, I picked the windiest day to spray paint this ramp, but she still came out sleek as fuck.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's just get this thing hooked up to my Ford Focus already. I just want to ride it. My buddy Brandon followed behind me to make sure nothing fell out along the way. So we got a good show up out here. A lot of people came out. Long time building this ramp. Bruce out here, baby, with the FPV shots. They're looking clean. Oh! Stop, you are the fucking man, dude. What an animal. Hey, if the ramp doesn't take you out, that bush will.
Three days later.
Well, I just came back to try to find the ramp, see if I could salvage any pieces from it. And these guys right here, fucking, this is where it all happened. This is where it all got crushed up into a little ball, and they already took it out of here on the trailers. It's just a shame, man. They could have at least not crushed it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
So I put an Apple AirTag inside the ramp because I was afraid it was gonna get stolen. That's when I randomly checked the location at work one day, and it went from right here where we had it set up to all the way over here. So I'm thinking like someone's probably loading it up in the back of their truck right now to try to steal it, and we can probably try to catch them. So I called my buddy Dave, who lives pretty close by. He was also there helping us set up that day. And I had him go down there to check on the ramp for me, and he FaceTimed me. And as he was coming around the corner to where I told him the ramp was from the AirTag, I just saw it. It was all crushed up like a pancake crushed into a little ball, and I was just devastated. I just hung up and said, we gotta make another one.
And a motherfucking baby, motherfucking shit, baby, going crazy. Get your legs shaking like a motherfucking